Yo, people, back again. Another week, another episode. Keeping that content up for you guys. You know how it is, man. You know the usuals, like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your people. Make sure you follow the social medias as well. We ain't been posting as much recently, but we'll start to get on top of that and fixing that up. So make sure you, obviously the links are in the description. And obviously when you go on the YouTube page, so that's the Twitter and Instagram, and the TikTok as well. Should be starting posting on that soon as well. But yeah, all that out of the way. Been an interesting weekend, to say the least. But there's nowhere better to start than the Manchester derby. Man City, they taught them a lesson, innit? They taught them a lesson. You really saw who the big boys are. You know the ones. So yeah, Man City 4, United 1. I kind of missed the second half. I saw most of the first half, but second half I missed it. But apparently it was a write-off. So let me start with Dan, because Dan said he has a few words to say. So Dan, what are you saying about the game? What did you learn from it?
Do you know what? I'm gonna try and speed through a couple of bits because there's some points I really want to touch on. And in terms of what we learned, I'm gonna be honest. I personally didn't learn anything. Everything that Man United shown has been known. Like, this has been a problem for ages, but either Man United fans, the board, or just the club in general have refused to accept and address these problems. The game was in terms of because I don't expect Man United to be in the same level of quality as Man City. Man City is one of the best teams in the world. So to not be on Man City's level of quality is fair enough, but to show no effort in a Manchester derby, even the way they pressed was so poor that it wasn't even worth them showing up. Like, the second half, genuinely, and I didn't even think Man City played that well. I think Man City defensively in the first half were quite frail. They let Man United counter-attack, and they weren't as solid as they have been in the past. But Man United really were awful. That first line of press was bypassed so easily every single time. Every single time Edison would just play the ball out to Walker or to Cancelo, and Man United would just give up and just let them move into the second phase of play, where it was Fred and McTominay who didn't stop anything. So, I mean, Man United's overall play was shocking, but there's a couple individual players that I want to speak on, because these players, in my opinion, in this game were horrible, and in general for Man United have been poor for a while, in my opinion. So David De Gea is the first one. And Man United fans this season especially have been praising him and saying, oh, he's the best keeper he's been on form and whatnot. But I don't know how you can look at Edison up the other end and look at De Gea's performance and genuinely think that David De Gea is good enough to play for a title or even a title contending team. His distribution is worse than Ben Foster's. I saw Ben Foster for Watford play 2 or 3 very nice balls over the top to Emmanuel Dennis and to Hernandez. I saw David De Gea play every single time he got the ball and was asked to distribute. He either played it straight into touch or straight to a Man City player. And the fourth goal illustrates it the most, in my opinion. He was under no real pressure, played the ball straight to Gundogan, who just ran through McTominay, who I'm going to get onto, and played the ball into Mahrez for an easy fourth goal. But inviting pressure for no reason at all. And then you compare that to Edison, who was bypassing 3, 4, sometimes even 5 United players with one pass through the lines, getting the ball out to Cancelo, Walker, Bernardo Silva, Rodri. It's just 2 totally different worlds. And I don't know how United fans haven't accepted that. But moving on, I was going to get onto Maguire, but I'm tired of getting onto Maguire because we've got onto him so many times. And I don't think he was the worst either by far. His performance for the second goal was appalling. Like, doing a dummy in your own box, that's not what top defenders do. Like Van Dijk, Thiago Silva, even like Rudiger, these type of defenders are not going to do a dummy. They're going to take matters into their own hands and eliminate the danger. Put it out for a throw, put it out for a corner, just get the ball out of the danger zone. Not do a dummy and let it go to a City player. I don't understand what was going through his head, but that's just Harry Maguire this season anyway. Moving on, McTominay. McTominay was, for me, he was the worst. He was the worst performer. And I've always seen Scott McTominay as a bit of a cancer for Man United, to be honest, especially if he's starting. I don't think Scott McTominay is nearly good enough to start for Man United because defensively, well, first we'll start off with his technical ability. I don't think he has very good technical ability at all. I don't think his technical ability is at the level required for Man United. And that's not saying that you need that to be a good player. Jordan Henderson's a perfect example of someone who's not massively technical, but he has the other attributes in his game that can compensate for that. Scott McTominay, and some of them are just basic, just effort, work rate, and determination. McTominay was just letting people run past him. If you can't even chase the ball, try and shield the back four, hold your position, try and receive the ball, you're not offering anything. And when you're not offering anything, you're a passenger dragging the team back. He again, as he does in all big games, hiding from the ball. And when you've got Maguire and De Gea who are not great with distribution, you're not helping them by hiding from the ball and not making yourself available. It was a shocking display from him, and it's not the first. But now the main event, the piece de resistance, Puno, another stinker in a big game, another one. It's just become a tradition at this point. He's not turned up for one big game. And I've said this for a while that you can't win the big prizes consistently if Bruno is the main part of your team because of how inefficient and wasteful he is. Bruno works best when he's playing with players that are not as good as him, that are not world-class players, not great players. Because when he's giving the ball away 20 times a game, it doesn't really matter that Dan James is not getting on the ball or that Odion Ighalo is not getting on the ball. But when you've got someone like Sancho who has ability and can create things and can show that they are good players, not giving them the ball and not giving them a chance to use their ability is massively detracting away from the team, especially when you're giving it away cheaply and needlessly. It's not helping you in the long run. And with them top players, you could have 2013 Lionel Messi on the wing. If you're not giving him the ball and you're just giving it away, he can't affect the game. And Bruno does this way too much even in normal games, but let alone the big game for him to ever be effective or work. And in a game like when you're playing teams like Man City, who I even thought were poor defensively yesterday, you're not going to get 20 chances to give the ball away. He got 2. And one of them, he really should have played the ball out to Sancho in the first half. And Sancho would have had a chance to shoot and maybe make it 2-1 and change the game. But he delayed on the ball and thought about shooting. And by the time he passed, the chance was over. So at this point, I think I know Roy Keane went on a bit of a rant on Sky Sports and said that there's a lot of players that need to go, but I genuinely think there is. I think a lot of them United players are either not at the level required or don't have the basic effort required. Like even Lingard and Rashford, they came on with 20 minutes left and they're walking. Like in a Manchester derby, have some pride. Overall, it was honestly very pathetic from United, and I don't know where they go from here. I think they need to blow the whole thing up if we're talking in like a basketball sense term, and just try and piece together the good assets that they have and fit profiles around them and rebuild.
That was a long run.
Bro, I needed to get that off my chest. Sorry if I took a while.
It's cool, man. It's cool. You could tell that was passion. It came from the heart.
Bro, I'm not even a United fan, but these guys are. Yesterday, just watching it was honestly a disgrace. Watching you walk around the pitch, 3-1 down.
Yeah, I hear that, man. All right, turning back. Tell me, what's your thoughts on what Dan said in the game overall?
I think I agree with basically everything he said. I think firstly, if I get into United, I think I'll just focus on like City because I did think that I think Pep Guardiola is actually he's really good. I mean, I know we say this a lot, but sometimes it still just amazes me how well he's put the City team together. Like especially the fact that like he doesn't even have I know people say that Pep doesn't really rely on an actual striker, but still how he just puts the 4-3-3 together very well, because a lot of people don't realize how incredibly hard it is to do, because he started with De Bruyne and David Silva in midfield. And those are two very attacking players. Credit on Rodri too. I have been super harsh on him like in the past. I mean, I think he has had a good season, to be fair. But yeah, just being able to put those two attacking players in midfield and still, keep that balance is just really incredible. Also, Edison, yeah, I mean, like those passes that he brings out from the back, like we're just talking about, that like Dan was just talking about, Cancelo as well. His inverted role is just so good. How he's just able to go wide, and he's good with both feet as well. So I think City were just, and I love how City always play like from the halfway line. So they're always coming at you more or less. It's so rare to see City sit back like behind the ball. So it's so rare to see City behind the ball, and that is just brilliant football to just see in general. Onto United, I feel like Dan did cover a lot of what I was going to say. De Gea, spoken about him like since I think I spoke about it even earlier on this. I think there was even a clip on TikTok that was uploaded, the way I was just ranting about De Gea, and I just said that, yeah, like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like it's so very obvious to see that people go on like he's making saves and stuff, but some of the reason why he's making so many saves is because of him. So it's so paradoxical, because when you let the ball go from goal kick, and when you can't distribute properly, the ball will end up coming back. And then you'll now be forced to make a save, and everybody go, "Oh my God, he's so good!" Like, wow. And but it's like you were the cause of that. Like your poor distribution is why you're getting attacked so much. It's quite. I don't know. I think what really amazes. To be fair, I do know a lot of United fans that actually can see it. That's like there is not a good keeper in the sense where his distribution and stuff like that, but there are still a lot of United fans that are still like there. So, and I just don't know like what they're not seeing, but I guess the game is just not that visible to a lot of people. But yeah, De Gea he's just not really like, especially as a modern day goalkeeper. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that like a lot of people don't like to accept that the game is changing. So a lot of people still like to be stuck on the old form of routine. Yeah, and I would also admit I was to some extent like that on the whole fullback, the rebirth of like the fullback per se. I was always just like, I did think that people put too much emphasis on goals and assists being used to judge fullbacks. I still think people do still put too much emphasis on it, but I do understand more like, why and how important it can be to have a fullback that can create chances and also score goals and do stuff like that. But yeah, like it's in terms of the keeper one, I think that one has been going on for quite a while. Like I think it came more obvious when Pep came into the league, and I think people saw like playing out from the back, although playing out the back had already been done way before that. I think it was more like it became a bit more mainstream when Pep came to the league. So I just don't know how, and most managers, everyone has tried to get a keeper who can play out from the back, or coach the young keepers who can to learn how to play out from the back and stuff like that. But De Gea, his game is already formed. He's 30, 31, something like that. You can't teach him how to do something like that again. It's just one of those things where like he'll never really be able to learn. And United should have just gone out for a new keeper. But now I'm hearing the talks of a new contract. I mean, from an Arsenal point of view, I mean, I don't like United, so I'm more than happy that they're giving him a new contract. I mean, long may his bad distribution continue. But on to which other players I thought Sancho was good for some bit. I mean, obviously besides the goal and stuff like that, I think he has been playing well recently. I think he's probably one of the few bright lights a bit in United. Rashford, yeah, came on, didn't really. I mean, he's barely even starting now. I mean, he's just kind of really falling from grace. The whole Ronaldo saga thing, I think there were rumors about him actually, like there was no injury or anything, and he was just really dropped. I mean, to be fair, I don't really have much to say about that. I think everybody already kind of knows what I think about the Ronaldo thing, but I still think. I still think it was a quite huge decision to just drop him like that completely. Bruno, yeah, like don't even know where to start with Bruno. It's just I don't know. He doesn't, like I've always said, he seems like he's a myth to me. Like he doesn't like, he's not like a real footballer. Like all respect to him. Like, you know, he does his thing. He puts up those numbers sometimes. He has had some good games in United as well. But I just feel like he's just like the risk to reward is just so crazy. Like the amount of things that he does wrong in balance to what he does good, it might not really be worth it when you think about it. Like, I don't know, like he just gives the ball away too much. You know, doesn't like, he always seems like he's in a rush as well. Like he doesn't take his time. Just, you know, doesn't really seem like he has that level of awareness sometimes for me. He just seems like a bit, especially against the big teams. Like Dan was saying, like, you know, it just seems like he's a bit out of his depth, so to say, when he comes up against top players. Who else? I think every other person in the team was just very average. Maguire, although a lot of people are coming to Maguire, I actually don't think he was as bad as a lot of people were. But obviously I get why, you know, built up anger. It's definitely something that is definitely the reason why people are coming onto him. Varane was injured. Always also a bit suspicious how Varane always seems to miss all the hammerings. Who else? I thought Bissaka was also poor as well. I think everybody already knows that I do like Bissaka, but yeah, I mean, this season it's just been quite awful. That game as well, he was also awful. Who played left back? Telles, yeah, wasn't us. Yeah, I think the whole team was just very average. Won't even get onto Ragnick too much because a lot of the players he's working with are really, really below average. But yeah, I don't know where United kind of go from here. I think that United have too much pride to be humble, in the sense where like the type of structure where what they need for a rebuild, they can't quite do that because United are all around signing the big names, getting the big managers, getting the big players, and a lot of the times that's not what always works out. It's not always the best manager in the world. It's not always the best players in the world that would make you better. Sometimes it's just having faith in. Obviously, I'm going to have some a bit of, you know, directing with like how Arsenal has kind of like worked out in their rebuild and stuff like that. But sometimes it's not always the big name. Sometimes it's not always the, you know, hottest manager right now. Sometimes it's just, you know, having a plan, trusting someone, getting players who fit a particular system, who they know what to do and stuff like that. Like I see people, there are posts that go up on Twitter that are like comparisons with like the best keepers in the league. And I still see De Gea in there, and no one's talking about Ramsdale, and that's good. I don't want credit or anything, but it just shows to you how everybody still has that mentality of the big names and stuff like that. And it's so obvious to see Ramsdale is better in terms of playing out from the back, in terms of our structure, in terms of all those things. It's so visible to see that. But people just like, you know, are so held on that big name thing. And United as a club are never really going to get out of that. Signing Ronaldo last summer more or less just proved that, you know, they're not they're like a TV club. They want to they just want to, you know, have the headlines and stuff like that. And it's going to take a lot for them to actually, you know, put out a proper plan, like weed out all the, so to say, big names, start afresh. I mean, now in the summer they're looking at I think Ten Hag on Poch. And I mean, I'm not going to, because I do think both coaches are good, but at the same time, you know, it's one of those things that like it seems like the obvious answer, and sometimes to me the obvious answer is not usually the right one. So I guess we'll just see how it goes for them in the summer. I think a lot of United fans also wanting them, it's kind of a red flag as well, because I think there's something that Arsenal fan base used to say, like whenever Arsenal fans want a player, that's when like we shouldn't get him. And yeah, that has worked out so many times across the years. You actually wouldn't believe how crazy like it, I think Ramsey is even like the perfect example. Like when we also don't want a player, like that's probably when you should go for him as well. it's kind of like a twist on the so yeah, I would just say United should just, you know, regroup, as the board should regroup and think about how to rebuild properly, and not just, you know, sign big names and, you know, get the hottest coaches and stuff like that. But yeah, let's see what happens with them in the coming next season.
I hear that, man. What about you, Sarah? What's your thoughts on what's been said in the game as
You guys have summed it up quite well. I thought, I don't know, I think Wan-Bissaka was very poor. I thought on that left-hand side in the first half, when like City were probably the most dominant on that side, like Wan-Bissaka, Alanga and McTominay really struggled to keep hold of Cancelo, Grealish, Foden. And obviously, like, yeah, there was an overload and stuff, but I thought that was one of Wan-Bissaka's poorest games. That's probably one of the reasons he's been subbed, because he's not as mobile as I once thought he was. And sometimes, obviously, we know his positioning can be sometimes a bit off. But yeah, he was really poor in that game. I also think as well, Pogba and Bruno playing as like sort of like two up front was really, really strange.
Yeah, that was strange.
That was really strange. I don't think I've seen something so weird in my life. Two central midfielders up front.
That was a crime.
Pogba, I think Pogba was trying to make runs. It just wasn't working. He literally was not involved in anything. I know we got onto Bruno, but the thing that Bruno does do, he does work hard, and none of the other players really do that at all. I think McTominay getting just swept past, it was like, you might as well stuck me in there. Like, I would have probably pressured players more. Like, for the fourth goal, he just lets Mahrez go past him and just like puts an arm out. Like, grow up, man. People were comparing him to Declan Rice before. Have a day off. Like, joke. Fred was flying out like he used to, like about a year ago when he started like going for laps around the pitch, trying to think he's N'Golo Kante. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a shocking performance. I think what we saw, like from Man City side, we saw a sort of transition from the first half being on the left, and then the second half, Mahrez starting to come into it and really like cutting in. Tellez really struggled at that point, and then Maguire, I think he's not fast, he's not mobile, he can distribute, but then he gets turned by 5'7" players like Foden. I mean, there's not really much going for him at this point. And I thought he was really good last year. I thought he played quite well, and he was one of England's best centre backs. But I think he's gone downhill there. And then obviously, yeah, Rashford and Lingard coming on, I thought just shocking. Like just walking, and this is not the Lingard that was at West Ham, that was really fighting for his badge, for his club, for his career. It's nothing like that anymore. And Rashford, we've seen rumours that he's going to be potentially off. Who's going to take him? Like, because Mr. Politician, maybe it's time to start focusing on football, because, you know.
There'll be a lot of teams that will take Rashford.
Yeah, they'll take him, but...
Yeah, but where does he fit realistically, though?
He can go to PSG if they sell him back.
Does he fit realistically in PSG?
He can replace him back.
Probably will. He probably can.
Rashford's useful any team. Players like that make runs in behind, they stretch the defensive line, they're always useful.
Oh no, man, that guy's a Theo Walcott regen. That's what he is, man. He'll be at Everton and then Bournemouth and something.
A player like his skill set is always useful to have, in my opinion. I think he's a good player. He's just in a very bad patch. With United in general, United are just there's just no momentum, there's nothing there.
There's no cohesion. They've got so many profiles that don't fit together, and they're wondering why it's not working.
They just need a new manager, new direction, honestly, because you can tell there isn't no push.
Ericsson was like a project manager, but I mean, this cycle again where he's going to need to buy players, and then it's just a constant like.
Essentially, what everyone thought was that like only took them to a point where they're just going to need a new manager, and a new manager would come in and maybe sign two players and finish it off. Yeah, but it's just so funny to see how, like on paper, even just looks like Ole was even holding them up, like making them appear to be better than what they were. And I'm not going to, say like, oh, Ole should have stayed and stuff like that. I really do think he should have gone. But it's just, it's so crazy to see how they're still so far off, like depending on how much money they've spent, how close they've come, not close, but they finished, second and stuff like that. But even when they were finishing second and stuff, they were still never really close to winning the title. So I think their squad just never has really, I think a lot of the time, like a lot, like they've like individual players have like done a lot of like good things individually, but as a team, I don't know, they've never just really had a lot of cohesion. Like you can't even really see what they're working at. Like, you know,
I mean, yeah, like Ralph ditched his prided 2-2-2, 4-2-2-2 because he knew the players weren't going to work. They don't have the work ethic.
like,
He tried to change it back. We're playing 2 central midfielders up front. Like it just doesn't work. And I think De Gea, I don't get Man United fans saying that he's been the best keeper in the league because he's facing more shots than any other player.
They're clutching at straws. They need something to be tribal about, and that's the only thing.
I don't want my keeper to be facing shots. And also this thing about how he's good with his feet. Half the time he doesn't know when to use his feet. He uses his feet too much when it's airborne. Riyad Mahrez even said he shot high and aimed for his face because he knew that he'd go for his legs. Like he's really good with his legs. So yeah, there's not much.
You mentioned what's his name, Mahrez, just to give City praise.
Yeah, their best player probably at the moment.
No, that's weird though. That the season that he's having, isn't it?
A lot of his he's had a good output this year.
I see these takes on Mahrez that it's kind of funny. Not that now I agree with it, but like I'm just like in between. So like a lot of times, like a lot of the goals he scores, like they always come when City are like in leading positions.
Yeah, 2-1 up or something.
Yeah, like I mean, goals are goals at the end of the day, but I mean, yeah, like, you know, I've never really seen Mahrez as a decisive player. Like as someone like, you know, that would, you know, you're a 0-0, you need someone to come in and, you know, do that, you know, score that goal to take you there, you know.
He's not a hustler.
Yeah, he's not that type of player, but he seems he's a comfortable player, like, you know, he's
silky.
Yeah, silky, yeah. Still, his best season was still that Leicester season.
Yeah,
he's going to surpass that season. He's on track to surpass it now.
In terms of numbers, but like in terms of quality, I don't know.
He
was a fun player at Leicester.
Yeah, he was definitely. Yeah. And he was way more decisive. Yeah. You could tell, like, to be fair, being in City would make anybody comfortable, to be fair. It is a very comfortable team. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, is that a thing with Man City or the play in general? Because City is like I don't want to say a robotic team, but City kind of have that thing where they can exchange 1, 2, 3 players out of the team and bring 3 other players and get the same
Mahrez
kind of.
I guess Sam Alba, yeah.
And like Grealish actually went at Wan-Bissaka like for the longest time.
He did.
He did that thing where he just does the step overs and that shit.
Yeah.
Like, he actually went at Wan-Bissaka, which was like what he's good at when he's on the half turn going at.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was even thinking Sterling didn't even get any minutes.
No, and he's probably been an informed player over the last.
And it's probably been their most. Their depth is actually so incredible.
100%. Sarah, you said you're going to be going soon.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your boys. Let's give you a preview for the Europa League. Let's move on to the Europa League. Against Sevilla.
Yeah, mate.
That's a tough game.
Ooh,
that's heritage.
This is the worst pick of the draw. I'm not gonna lie. Like the one team I didn't want. Did they lose on the weekend? I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie.
They drew, I think. They drew no. I don't know who they drew against.
Is Martial cup tied? Is he allowed to play? I think he is allowed to play, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is allowed to play.
Yeah.
They drew to Deportivo Alaves.
I think
0-0.
I don't have high hopes, I'll be honest. Like, I think Declan Rice is still rumoured to be out. Hopefully he's going to be fit. Owen is potentially out as well because he picked up something. Always Liverpool. Always shit happens. But don't even get me started on that game. I didn't even watch it. But anyway. Yeah, I don't think we're going to win. I'm hoping that we can hold out for maybe like a 1-0 or 0-0 and then we come back to London Stadium the following week and try and grind a result out because Sevilla are doing well. They're the best defense in Spain. So
yeah, that's one thing I'll give them. Defensively, they're
they are really strong.
Going forward, they can be a bit blunt. They can be.
I think Campos is a bit shit at the moment. But they've thingy. What's his name? The Algerian striker. No, the Moroccan striker.
Oh, El
Naziri. Yeah, he's been okay this season.
He hasn't been bagging like last season.
Not like last season. Oh.
Now Sevilla don't score like tons of goals. Like, they're a good team. They're a good team, but
they're well coached.
Yeah, they're well coached.
Wouldn't fear them, but I think
John Jordan in Fernando and Rakitic in midfield is a good midfield. So
no, they're a good team. I wouldn't fear them, and I think you can definitely get a result. But
Definitely.
at home, I'd put them as the favourites.
the issue we have is now, I'm not going to lie, top four is basically gone because Arsenal have 3 games in hand. So we just need to hope we get top 6.
That's definitely doable though.
Yeah, but like I think what's going to happen is Moyes is going to go all out for this game. We have Villa on Sunday.
Mm.
And like if Bowen's out,
Villa's a tough one.
we've got a big issue there.
Even then, I still think you can get a result in both games. As long as you're disciplined and structured, as you have been quite a lot.
We will be. Yeah.
You definitely can get a result. Like, because the Sevilla game, a draw is a good result in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll take a draw, 100%.
Bring them back to London Stadium, and you have a very good chance. And Villa at the weekend, it really depends what Villa turned up.
Villa have been so up and down.
Yeah,
Just been a mixture of both. Yeah,
but
it
so
just basically depends if
depends.
Coutinho's pulling the strings.
Even Coutinho, he's a weird player because against Southampton, I don't know if anyone watched. He had a great game, but he was really wasteful.
Yeah.
I saw a bit of it from Match of the Day. But
wait, who's I'm sorry, who's out for the West Ham Sevilla game?
Well then, it's not confirmed yet.
Not confirmed yet, but is
Confirmed.
it?
Obviously, Ogbona's still out. He's out for the whole season.
Yeah.
Yarmolenko's still out because of Ukraine. And then it's just, look, Bowen there. See, Bowen's got a heel problem, but he doesn't. It's not as bad as it was first claimed. And it's basically Rice. If Rice is out, then because I don't know if we're gonna. I think the possession thing. I don't know if we're gonna dominate. We won't dominate. Probably be
I don't think you need to.
Sevilla will dominate you.
Well, I don't think that's a concern if Sevilla have the ball because West Ham don't need the ball a lot to score.
No,
especially on set pieces. Especially West Ham can be deadly from set pieces.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on because they start bagging again. Even if it's just like a couple goals here and there, he's just dried up completely.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Bowen stepped up.
You don't have
But look at West Ham don't concede many goals.
You say that, but we've actually conceded a lot of goals recently. Like we've scored after Man City and Liverpool, we've scored the most goals in the league. But we've been conceding a fuck ton recently, like loads. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how much he's going to rotate. I just thought he's going to play full strength, which he probably should.
Give it a go in my opinion. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. For some reason, I just see like a 0-0 in that game.
Yeah.
Seems like a very or even just like a 1-1.
I don't think Moyes will be too ambitious. I feel like he knows like this is the first time ever. Like we're away. We're against one of the best teams. So
Yeah, a bit unlucky with that draw. To be fair.
Yeah,
we were unlucky on the weekend against Liverpool, but don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, because I thought you actually did play well against Liverpool. So
I didn't watch.
I mean, using I thought you guys did play very well. You had so many
huge chances. Like
you could have definitely. I can't remember the challenge that was for, but you could have definitely beaten Liverpool. Which is why like you can definitely take the game to Sevilla for sure. Like thinking about how good Liverpool are and like how open the game was. But always, I mean, the league is always kind of different in respect to but yeah, it should be an interesting game for sure.
The issue is with West Ham at the moment is we sort of plateaued where like we're doing that thing again where we're grinding out results against the shit teams, but then we're playing well against the big teams, playing better, but then we're not getting the results.
We're not getting the results,
So I mean, we're sort of plateauing. We're getting draws, getting wins, but I think we've got like in our last 5 games, we've got 2 losses, 2 draws, and a win. Isn't shit, but it's not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. Let's move on to the Champions League. Let's look at the 4 games. I remember me and Ori was saying Salzburg would give Bayern some problems in that game. And Bayern drew again this weekend against Leverkusen. So, not all is rosy for Bayern recently. You would still expect them to push through against Salzburg.
That win probability is so disrespectful.
I mean, because it's at the Allianz, I understand that.
Yeah, I get that as well. I mean, like statistics-wise, but I really didn't think they did really take the game to Bayern. I mean, thankfully, there's no away away goals anymore. Yeah, because that one goal that Bayern scored would have hurt. So now I guess it's just about who scores more in this game. Probably they might even just try and drag it out. If they can just take a draw, drag it to pens, something like that. Like I said, there probably will be a lot of pens in this tournament now because of like the lack of the away goal rule and stuff like that.
So what we all saying, Bayern?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'll say Bayern.
I think it's a very cut and dry.
Um,
Same with this one, man. I don't see.
Oh,
Inter Milan done well.
I want Inter to provide a surprise, but
They done well, but
Inter went like a long period without scoring. And like they did score like a lot of goals in one game they played recently. But yeah, I don't think Anfield like already 2-0 up is just really cut and dry. Like you can't go to Anfield with an ambition of coming back. Like it's not really viable. So yeah, I think that's Liverpool cut and dry. Maybe they'll just win like 1-0 or 2-0 again. Like in my end as a
even a 1-1, I wouldn't be surprised.
Even yeah. I mean, all they really need to do is just see that result out. But they should be fine. I think they're in the quarterfinals already.
Inter have closed the gap on AC, so they're probably thinking.
Yeah, the Serie A race is very, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
With Inter, if Inter had that player, I mean, even just Lukaku from last season.
They just
need Lautaro to start scoring more. Like Dzeko's doing his thing.
Lautaro's not that guy. He's not that guy, man. He's never been.
He needs to be that guy.
He never was, man.
Alexis Sanchez isn't going to be that guy.
Yeah, he's like the guys.
But yeah, that's Liverpool.
Yeah. This one's Man City.
Right off, yeah.
You know what? The more every season we have the Champions League and stuff like that. Like, not to get into the whole like Super League debate, but isn't it just becoming more evident that the group stages and all of those things, like they seem so pointless. Like when it comes to the 8 teams that always left, most of the time it's always the same teams. Like let's be real, it's always the same teams.
But it's always been like that, though. Let's be real.
It has always been.
Yeah,
it has always been like that.
No, not necessarily.
There's only like 1 or 2 teams that make it through.
Maybe they'll always be that. They'll probably always be like that surprise team. Basically.
That Cinderella story.
But
we know who's going to be in the quarterfinals, isn't it? Like we know City, Chelsea.
Bro, back in the 2000s, it used to be a lot more spread out. You'd have teams like PSV, Deportivo, you had Porto.
Maybe one of them would be in the quarterfinals. That's like what Sporting and Salzburg.
Not necessarily. I think you'd have a couple back in the day because the talent was a lot more distributed over Europe. So you'd have a lot more teams that could do well. Nowadays,
there's only 3 Prem teams allowed in Europe. I think it's the same for Spain. So I mean, that's kind of why.
Yeah. So it's just where the money is, isn't it? The money is the quality is. So you see.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like the so to say big teams, there's always a bit of a shift every, like most of the time. Like there was a time where like some other thing, like there was time where City weren't even like considered, a team that would be getting quarterfinals regularly.
Schalke, Valencia.
I mean, things always change and stuff like that, but
that's why they want the City to protect themselves against stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Champions League format that's going to be introduced in a couple of years?
The Swiss format is horrible.
Yeah.
It's just all about protecting the interests of the big team.
I mean, to be fair, Barcelona is no longer in this cut, so I guess something is changing.
Barcelona, they'll be back.
But they are looking good now. So I mean, you'd expect them to.
They've not lost since like December.
And next season, Arsenal as well in the quarterfinals too.
The finals.
This is the main game.
Good game. This.
Has anyone heard about the rumors that Mbappe might not be fit?
Because of Gay, that bozo.
Just a day.
He injured him in training for no reason.
I think it looked a bit minor. I think he'll start. Start.
What are you saying? What are you saying for this one?
I think PSG.
I'll say it would end in a draw, so then PSG would win.
What's it called? Out for Madrid. I think.
Sorry?
Cruz might not play. Casemiro's out. Cruz might not play. So it might be Camavinga, Valverde and Modric, which might actually be better for them. Obviously, Casemiro is a big loss, you'd probably want,
Mobile, isn't it? There's more legs in that.
exactly, you have more legs in that midfield. So
PSG have quite a high energy midfield with Gay, Verratti, etc. Wijnaldum.
I think if Benzema and Vinicius do not show up for this game, then it more or less feels like a very useless season. Because obviously they're doing like superbly in the league, but like if they couldn't like replicate any of that in the Champions League, like in the getting knocked out in the round of 16, that's just not up to standard. Yeah. And I'm sure Benzema would even be eyeing like a top 3 finish in the Ballon d'Or or something like that.
100%.
If like he could get past this round of 16 stage as well. But yeah, very big game, very, very big game for Benzema himself as well too. I mean, last season he did like help Real Madrid a lot to get to the was it the semis? Yeah, before they got knocked out by Chelsea. Yeah.
Even in that game, he was very good.
He was superb in that game. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's still a very huge game for him. PSG, or Messi, Neymar. I mean, Messi has been looking a bit better recently. Neymar,
League than he has been in the league.
he has actually been playing better in the league now, like recently, to be fair. But I mean, they did lose their last game to Nice. Yeah, I thought he was really good in that game. But this is also actually another important game for him because he'd probably be looking to go all the way with PSG. Mbappe would be Mbappe starting that game is also very, very crucial.
That's the most important.
Very, very. I think he is he's PSG's most important player by
he's
far.
The glue.
Yeah, he's really that guy. Like he's the franchise player now. Like and like it's so crazy because he has his whole career ahead of him still. But I think him, like if he's there and like if PSG even go like close enough, I think he would also be looking at the Ballon d'Or season. Definitely. I think you'll definitely be looking at Ballon d'Or season. I think it's just around that. Mbappe, Salah, Benzema. Those are like but I feel like this might actually be the twist in the Ballon d'Or this thing where it's just going to change really. Like Messi and Ronaldo might actually never win it again. I mean, we say that now, but yeah, I mean,
Ronaldo in 2022. Come on, let's get off that, bro.
Yeah, I think it's very likely neither of them will win it again. I don't think either of them will.
Yeah, I think that might just be the end. To be fair, because I think it's become a point where like players are just really pushing past in terms of even numbers, and numbers was something that was always very like Messi and Ronaldo always had in the bag. But now they can't even compete with numbers. Playing well, Messi still does play well, once in a while here and there. Ronaldo doesn't really play well most of the time. So now you have players who like Mbappe, Salah, who are putting up the numbers and also playing well. So it's like it's just going to be very hard to compete and get to like. But yeah, I mean, just saying that like how far they've even come is just even it's quite incredible to say the least. But I think this might be the season where we start seeing a bunch of different winners every season from now. And I think everybody was kind of waiting for that moment to happen, like when it would stop being
what's it called? This final topic before we end off. I want to look at the stock market. I want to update ourselves on the stock market on any players that, in particular, that we have started to invest in a bit more. So, is there any players that you want to get their name out that you think?
Olise.
Oh, Olise.
What a player! I'm sold. Honestly, I'm sold. What a player!
I wrote an article about Olise. I never actually put it out, but I wrote an article about him before the season started. And yeah, he's just amazing. Like I went back to watch a lot of his old games in Reading, and he really is that guy. Like he's on par with the top like young players in the league and stuff like that. Like yeah, I think very soon he'll definitely be leaving Palace. I think someone will definitely be coming for him. Top player. He also gives me like that Mahrez vibe sometimes, like when he takes when he takes a touch and just like drifts into his left, and also seems a bit more even creative as well. yeah, no, he's just so good. He's so good. Yeah, good shouts. I'll say mine is I've said it like before, but Liao. In
Rafael Leao,
Rafael Leao, yeah.
That's
I
my,
spoke
that's my guy.
I spoke about him like last year on the podcast, and yeah, like he's just so good. He's someone that I would also want Arsenal to take a look on, because he can play like left wing, and he can also play that like like a left side, left half space striker kind of vibe as well, like that. He's so quick, rapid, athletic, also has tech. He really is, and he's so young as well. So nah, he's really good. He's really good. Yeah.
How's that guy? You know, there's a couple players. I was watching, I've always liked him, but like I've never really invested in him. But I really like Watkins. Even though he's not a top goal,
yeah.
he's so complete. Like his link-up play is good, very technical. He's not very technical, but he's good technically. Great hold-up play. Like, he's just a complete striker. Unfortunately, he's not young. I think he's like 26, 27.
Yeah. No, he's really good. Yeah, he is really good. Like when I do actually watch him, I do really enjoy his game as well. I think there was a time I actually did want him at Arsenal, to be fair, but yeah, I think we should probably just be aiming for someone a bit better. No disrespect to him, because he's still a very good player, but I do like his overall play. Yeah,
he's like, he probably won't get you 20 goals a season, but he get you like 15. For me, like, if I was a football manager, I would get him, and then you have maybe your top inside forward to work alongside.
Yeah. That would be like the best way to utilize him, like having like a pacey winger that scores a lot of goals, and it's just like I'm having him also score goals, and also like being able to drop deep, connect play. Yeah, he really is a complete striker, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I really like Watkins. I don't think there's any recent players like.
No, Livramento, I've had stocks in that guy, man. Trust me, he's going to the moon.
Yeah,
I was gonna. Yeah, good.
Livramento is good. Obviously, like outside the Prem, obviously I like Leon a lot, so I like Kaka. I like Kaka.
Yeah, Kaka.
I think Broja. A lot of people have stocks in Broja recently.
Yeah. No,
for Southampton.
Jacob Ramsey. People have been.
Yeah. Ramsey, Ramsey's good.
He's quality.
Got a good number. Yeah, he's all round midfielder. So.
Yeah, proper player.
Who else is there? That, you know? I like Valverde a lot from Real Madrid. I like him a lot.
He hasn't played as much as like last season though.
He should play so much more. He should play so much more.
I feel like he likes his tried and tested.
I'm keeping my eyes on Gavi. Let me see how he does. I think there's a contract. Big boy talent there. Who else is there? Even in the league. Let's look at the league right now.
No, anyone who put stocks in Ødegaard at the beginning of the season when they were at rock bottom.
You're looking at the top. Ori was saying since the beginning that Ødegaard was that guy. I saw
Ødegaard is really good.
That pass he made in the build-up for Martinelli. Like the guy.
Just that flick. Yeah, he's I think it's really one thing where like having a football brain is just so under. Yeah. Like he's such a smart player. I
thought of one. No one's mentioned him. Anthony Gordon. I like him.
From Everton. I think he's all right, man. I think
there's a good player there, man.
Harvey Elliott, I think he's a quality player, man. I think Harvey Elliott's a very technically secure player. And in this Liverpool team. Oh yeah, of course. His attitude stinks. That's why he's going to the top. That's why he's going right to the top. He needs a couple more scandals and he'll be right up there with
he's going to learn from James Milner or something. I can imagine James Milner just shit housing him.
Yeah. Is there any other players that come to mind?
I mean, there's a lot of young players at Brighton and Brighton's network of like because they're loaning a lot of players out to Belgium and Brazil and stuff. And I think a lot of them are coming into the team next year, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with them, like Percy Tau and people like that. Obviously, Jacob Moder. Yeah. I'm looking for
Brighton, an interesting team to look out with their young players. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We were going to talk about Havertz and Lukaku, but Carl's not here to gas up his boys, so we'll talk about that one another week because Lukaku might be in trouble. But yeah, we'll keep that one for maybe next week. But yeah, people, I think that's it from us. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with your people. And yeah, man, hit the bell notification so that you're up to date with whatever comes out. Follow the socials. Yeah, man, just keep supporting. But yeah, people, we out. Peace.